So the whole time at the tailgate, the only question anyone asked me was, "Where's Wolfman Jeff?" Which was also the question that Adam and I were asking up until 5 seconds ago as we were about to start off the post. So huffing and puffing, it's Wolfman Jeff.
I'll blow the house in. And so, yeah, well, I like making an entrance and making it big.
Eat your heart out, Alexi. Look at this. In off the post.
And it's off the post. And it came off both posts and came out. Are you kidding? Unbelievable.
All right, guys. So literally the perfect game for off the post, as 3 shots by the Red Bulls went off the post in this game. What's your initial reaction? What are you thinking?
Oh, man, it was I didn't know if there was a voodoo curse placed upon that goal, if they put cellophane on it, and it was the most bizarre thing that because it wasn't that they were necessarily bad shots. There were a few that you knew weren't going to go in, but there was a lot of really good shots that it was bizarre. It was really strange. It was, it was like it was scripted in a movie.
So before we get too far into this, I want to say 2 things. Number one, I was very confident that the person that I was screaming at behind the goal was the loanee from Fulham. It was not. Number 2, it was a 15-year-old from their academy who had an outstanding game.
Yes, absolutely.
And after finding out when I got home that he was 15, I felt a little guilty for how hard of a time we gave him. I will say nothing not unclean was said to him. Like it was
nothing
all
rude.
Fun. Yeah, nothing rude.
He handled it with amazing aplomb. He stayed focused on the match. No matter what we did, we couldn't get him to turn around and even crack a smile at us.
I'm really glad I didn't offer him a beer this time.
Yeah, that's kind of our go-to when they make the last call announcement. But he is right now in 14th position in the league for saves in his one game with North Carolina. He had one of the. It's kind of a hockey stat line. There was 30 shots today.
Jeez.
And only 10% of our shots went in the goal. So
and some of them were legitimately strong saves by him as well. Like it wasn't just indeed. Like 37 shots that he saved 30. Like he didn't save 34, but it wasn't also 34 bad shots, right? Like there was 13 on goal or something like that. It was
correct.
10 saves. 10 saves.
Yeah.
From a 15-year-old. Yeah, it was and again, we try to make it moderately unpleasant for the other team there. We want them to know whose den they're in. And I have to agree with Alex there. He really presented himself. Not only was his play excellent, but he kept his composure. And so that was I think he's a keeper for him.
Well, I mean, he looked good.
See what you did there.
Yeah,
it's well done. Yeah, he looked.
It's Father's Day. It's Father's Day. You got to do a dad joke on Father's Day.
All right, so let's jump right in, and I'm going to jump in with really a very disturbing start, which was their goal to begin with, because it's what we talked about in our preview about what would beat us. So here's what that goal looked like.
Chattanooga definitely trying to cause chaos and mayhem on the other half, but here's Cole Frame. Cole Frame is the 18. He fires a shot, and he gets it into the bottom right corner. Cole Frame!
So we don't need to watch him celebrate. What was your reaction, guys? I was behind the goal. Honestly, I felt like we missed by more and more. I felt like he needed to close that out more than he did. He gave him too much, didn't take a great angle, but that's what we expected. Like over the top was our weakness, right?
It was where we were afraid that something was going to go wrong, and it felt like, oh no, we're falling into the trap again. You give up that one goal right off the bat when you're just kind of getting settled into the game, and allow them to put one over the top, and you can't chase them down. So it was a little stressful. Had plenty of game left, and so you weren't too worried. You knew something was going to come. So
it was frustrating because it felt like it should have been closed down earlier, particularly on our left side, which would have been their right side. I do have to say, even though it's a criticism on Esparza, I do think Esparza played a very good game, especially linking up with Espana moving forward. He still has to work on his defensive play on that left side. And I don't know. I'm thinking Sebastian more and more just came out way too far out. As keepers, what are your thoughts? Should he have come out as far as he did, or was that a foolish thing, or was it just?
Well, it wasn't he stopped himself in the no man's land. So if you're gonna be that far out, then you might as well run out to the edge of the box and try to put a block on him.
Yeah.
The kid that scored is another one of the 4 academy kids that they had making a start. So if you're running at him, making yourself big, you could probably cause him to kind of panic and send a shot wide. Or retreat to your line and allow your defenders to try to come and make a sliding block. But you can't just kind of come 15 yards out and stand.
I would have gotten reamed by my coach if that's the play I had played, because exactly, you went into no man's land. You were neither trying to shut him down with an angle and taking the ball out, nor were you backing up and giving your defense a chance and extending the length of time for your defender to get back there. He didn't either. It was a bad angle he took as well. He didn't shut down. He left 5 feet open to the right of him, and that's way too much. It needs to be a much smaller angle for him. He could have closed him out better. That was not his best play of the night by far. In all honesty, he didn't have a lot of opportunities, and he didn't. And if you ask me, this was not his best game.
In my book, I would have done the same thing, but I would have started an argument with my defenders to try to shift the blame over to their fault. It's kind of like a LeBron thing. That's what I would have done.
It would have done that. So are you kind of surprised that we didn't see Tim come in the second half?
No, not at all. Like, I don't think you make a change at keeper in the middle of a game. That just doesn't happen.
Especially if it's 1 goal. Like, if it had been 4-0 at halftime, okay, maybe you pull them. But it's 1-0. And the way that we've played all year, you knew that we spent the whole rest of the half knocking on the door. So you knew the other chances were going to come, and it's going to be fine.
I really did still feel like this was the game Tim was going to get in, because I don't think he's starting in Greenville. I thought this was the game that the coach was going to give him a shot, especially when I find out later that they started 4 academy kids. It amazes me that this isn't the game Tim gets in. If Tim can't get in this game, I don't know that he's getting in games. But so let's move on. So we're going to skip 55 minutes of play, because basically what this is a shot after shot after shot after shot after shot after shot with nothing going in the net. And then finally we get to our first goal of the game, and that looked like this.
Hernandez sends his forward for Galindrez. It's Juan Galindrez. He's got a shot on him. He chips it over, and he finds the back of the net. Juan Galindrez, his 3rd goal off the bench.
Yeah, I don't know if the TV is doing it justice.
No, it's not.
It was loud. It was, part of it was because it was such a relief. It felt like that monkey got off our back. And that was, I think, maybe one of my funnest celebrations at CHI Memorial.
I want to give props to Juan Galindrez running in at that, where a lot of people, you would see them try to hammer it to a corner, possibly off the keeper's foot. I mean, just another one of those frustrating shots that doesn't get finished. But he went a little cheeky, and he tapped it up with his toe over the top and dropped it in. And it was just a fantastic finish. I was sitting in the 3rd row of the supporter section there, and so we got a great look at it.
Yeah,
and it was such a good finish.
Yeah, that may have been one of the better chips I've seen, because the other thing that can happen when you've got a guy right on your back, you got a keeper coming at you, the tendency there when you're trying to chip it is to chip it all the way over the goal. And his touch was perfect. It was really nice. It looked really good from our angle.
Yeah, he was very much in the driver's seat. And I'm thinking this is what the coach is wanting out of his 9. Someone who's got that quality finish and has the moxie to go ahead and push and to make it happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of the talk in the supporter section at halftime was that we needed to see Juan Galindrez and Marky Hernandez, one or the other or both of them come off the bench and give this team a shot in the arm. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, at some point, I think Galindrez is going to have to be the starter because he keeps consistently proving over the last few games that he's the finisher. And
at the moment is tied for 4th in goals in the league right now. He's got 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
games in a row.
Half of them tonight.
Well, and then on top of that, though, you've got a situation where, we keep talking about Rafa coming back, but at some point, Rafa is going to be coming back, and you're going to have to work him into the system, right?
Yeah. Rafa mentioned he was there in our section, and it's not official, but it's going to be sooner than later.
Well, I like hearing that. But
Yes.
if that's the case, whose position is he taking, right? Because it's going to be someone up top. And so I would like Galindrez to be starting and Rafa to be coming in as they work him in. But that's just me. So let's jump to the goal where we take the lead, and it looked like this.
Coming forward, Dietrich into the 18. Jackson Dietrich fires a shot. It sputters around, and it's going to be tapped in. Juan Galindrez, second goal of the game, and his 3rd potential game winner of the season. This man loves drama. And this one coming forward.
All right. So that's a bit of a cleanup, completely different than the first goal for him.
Yeah.
We're once again, I'm sitting in that same 3rd row of the supporters section right next to Alex. Well, not right next to him. We had a tiny man next to us. But we were sitting right there in the supporters section. So we got to see that up front. What was it like from your angle, Jeff?
Oh, it was great. It was hard to see because we all started to stand up. And so Beth missed that video of that shot because everyone started to stand up expecting it there. It was exciting to see. It was that slide in that could have been easily messed up, and he didn't. Also, I was really impressed with Jackson Dietrich tonight. I think that was I think he's had his best game in a Wolf shirt.
It was a really good play by him and a great shot. And in the first half, there was that last guy that was in position to score. Felt like that was missing a lot. The corner kicks weren't getting won by Red Wolves, or the pass that was trying to go across the 18-yard box to someone. The guy just wasn't there. He had his back to the goal. So this was a great job by Galindrez, seeing the shot by Jackson and pouncing, knowing that this keeper had given up quite a few rebounds. He had a great game, but he gave up quite a few rebounds. And so when this one leaked out, he was there and took care of business, and that was great to see.
And so from there, 5 minutes later, or 6 minutes later, this is what we see. In theory, maybe not.
It was very dark.
It is.
It was a night game.
It didn't want to work. I had a fear that was.
I don't know what you were looking at, Adam. I saw a goal by Marky Hernandez.
You know what? If you don't have the goal, you have to go
of starting.
So USL has not actually posted the actual goal on its own. So I'm pulling it from their overall highlights.
So we're gonna watch Adam scroll through the match, and this
Let's
is
see.
video gold right here.
Here it is. Here we go. Here.
18. He winds up, passes to the middle. It's Hernandez. Hernandez with a shot, and that's the nail in the coffin. Marky Hernandez. That goal.
All right. So that may have been, of the 3 goals, the prettiest. What do you think, Alex?
I agree. Just got the ball, made that tight little turn, got the keeper moving towards the far post, and buried it. And that was awesome.
Well, I tell you what, instead of just me sharing my thoughts, why don't I share Marky's? Hey, this is Wolfman Jeff with Soccer Chat with Marky Hernandez.
Hey!
So, Marky, you came on again on the second half, and that seems to be your place lately. How do you feel about coming in on the second half?
I mean, it feels good playing. I don't care if I start or come in. I'm here for the team, and if the team needs me, then I'll come through for them.
Now, it was really hard fought when you had like 25 or 30 shots on goal, and it seemed like you were kicking and kicking. So how frustrating was that to see things just not go in?
Yeah, it seemed like it wasn't going to go in, but we never gave up, and that's the key right there.
And of course, it would be a draw. It would be a tie today if not for this man. So how did it feel getting the winning goal?
I'm really happy. I'm really happy to get on the scoring sheet. This is my first. It's been 7 games. I went dry, but I'd like to give thanks to all my teammates and our fans.
All right.
Especially you.
So do you hear us out there screaming for you, Mark?
Yes, I always hear you guys. I keep that in the back of my head and back in my mind when I'm playing, and it's for them, it's for my family, and my newborn that's coming.
So a good Father's Day present, right?
Yeah, and for my pop's birthday is tomorrow as well.
Awesome. Hey, Marky, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Marky. Make my day. Yeah, and Marky is the only one that would howl with me. And I said
you couldn't
that,
even get Ricketts to howl.
Actually, I did get Ricketts to howl. I was about
There
to
we
say,
go. Okay.
except for I had to guilt Ricketts. I had to, but he eventually did. Ramos was having none of it. I'll have to edit Ramos's one because of our. We're not like the other USL League One podcast. We try to keep it clean. So he was really pumped up. Yeah. So there's going to be some other interviews. I didn't tell you. I didn't know if I was going to get it done, but I thought, let me see if I get the Marky one done. And
well done.
I did. So, cause he was, it was great. So that's my thoughts.
You mentioned that he got the game winner, and here's the reason it ended up being the game winner.
Yes.
Be looming for the majority of this game. Suddenly it's not all too important anymore, as Chattanooga has opened the floodgates in the second half. This ball comes in, still there open. The shot goes off the hands of Mora, and North Carolina FC have got one back.
All right, so that was one of those where we really just didn't clear it out. We didn't clean it up. We allowed the ball to kind of ricochet around in there. Granted, it was 3 minutes left maybe in extra time, but it still made it a whole lot less comfortable than it was looking like. And I think as we get further down the season, those are the type of things that we might come back and say, this is what kept us from getting that bye week.
Yeah, it's as close and tight as the league is, it's very possible it can come down to goal differential. And so giving up stuff like that at the end of a game to win by 1 when you could have won by 2 is significant. Even that, when they scored that goal, I don't recall really being too worried that we would be able to see out that last 3 minutes. I felt like we were going to score a fourth, to be quite honest.
But it was frustrating because it seemed stoppable on our end. And but I do have to say I ended up being impressed with the character for North Carolina because they just kept going. And even though it looked like it was a unwinnable match, which ended up was, they just kept the fight and they kept going. Yeah. So I was expecting a lesser team based on what I had seen previously. So there's a lot more there than the stats will tell you.
Yeah, they don't look like a 1-point team, especially with the talent that they've got. Once again, I'm going to reiterate this as we come to kind of towards the close of this. That 15-year-old Holiday was impressive. He just was. I can tell you this with 100% confidence. I would not have looked as strong as he did at 15 years old playing versus those guys. I mean, those are some Blake Frischnick and Juan Galindrez. Those are not small dudes. Those guys are men that are putting in a powerful shot and consistently taking it to him, and he held his own. And so my takeaway for them is they should hold their heads up high. They played well. They came out with 4 starters from their academy. I will say the last thing is, we brought in one of our academy kids, got his first pro debut coming in from Dalton, and that was good to see as well at the end of the game. So.
Yeah, the only criticism I have against North Carolina is it seems like they're taking some notes from Richmond on the ability to flop up on the field. So I'd like for them to work out. They don't need to do that. Just get up and play, and they don't have to draw out the foul. But that's my only criticism of North Carolina.
I will say that was one of the back and forth of that game. There wasn't a ton of stoppage for fouls. There was definitely a point in the game where it seemed like they were trying to lay down on the ground to kill time, and I kept saying, like, dude, that's going to bite them, because this is our team scores at the end of games. And in fact, I went to Footy Stats, which I've really enjoyed that website. 38% of our goals have come in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not a small number. We've scored none in the first 15 minutes, which is also problematic. But yeah, that's a big deal. So, in my opinion, I think we've shown our ability to kind of take the reins as the points per game leaders, and we're only 2 points behind the actual table leaders if you go by points, but with 2 games in hand. I feel really good about that. And going into Saturday, I feel like we should be having our heads high and think to ourselves, we can take this Greenville team who showed some ability to be scored on, which was not what you would think of, but they gave up 3 goals versus Tormenta. So more power to us. Anybody else got anything else as we look to get near the end of the game or the end of the show?
Tailgate was on point again. Next weekend, come see us. Wolfman Jeff may be there on time, so people will actually be excited.
Actually, I won't. I'm going to be in Ohio.
Oh, he won't even be there.
So I got to go through another weekend of Where's Wolfman. Great.
Yes, yes, yeah. That's what's in store for you. I'm giving my tickets to a guy named T-Bird, and so they may show in my stead.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm really excited to meet T-Bird. Have him come to the tailgate at 4 p.m. In the North Lot. You guys can't miss us, and we'll have everything set up and look to have some good times before the game kicks off.
All right. On that note,
bye.